Helldivers 2 humiliates AAA live service games.
Well, I hope only adults are watching because today we get to talk about a dirty word and Helldivers. The dirty word is FOMO. It's the fear of missing out. It's the engine that's powering gaming's worst impulses. Your gated skins, your timed purchase opportunities, your limited battle passes that expire and just have all your value in your purchase disappear away into the wind. It's all stuff designed to manipulate players into spending time and spending money.
Oh wow, so I I think this is Overwatch? And I was thinking about Overwatch as he said FOMO. Yeah, Blizzard is really bad as a company.
But here's the thing, right? In some recent weeks, we've seen something different. We've seen a game where FOMO is actually the point, where, quote,
Wait, does FOMO just instinctively make me think about Blizzard now? That's kind of creepy if that's true. Am I the only one? There's probably some. Leave in the comments which company you instantly think about when you hear the word FOMO. Man, it must be Blizzard for a lot of people, huh?
never available again, is exactly why people played. And an example where it actually had nothing to do with spending money. Because I suppose in its most pure sense, FOMO could be applied to a really good game of poker with your friends that, you don't want to miss out on because it could be really fun. That natural sense where the FOMO is because something's actually good, and the thing that makes it good is the fact that it's not completely deterministic. Though, in this case, there's a few funny things on that. And here's the rub. More than 3 million people played Helldivers 2 during one single special week. And the reason why is that nobody wanted to miss out on actually being part of the story. Usually when we talk about FOMO, it is about overt manipulation. It's about companies trying to grab your time, grab your money, and the last time we talked about Helldivers, it was literally FOMO for that exact reason. It was when they'd added the Killzone crossover weapons and cosmetics. They were only available for a week, they were at a cost higher than normal, and the reaction was fairly clear. People rebelled, they were angry. So what did Arrowhead do?
Makes
Well, they
sense.
ended up giving a second wave of content out for free, essentially a Christmas gift. And they also announced plans to revamp the in-game shop. Basically, they wanted to avoid that type of thing never happening again. And those plans actually just came true. That's because the latest update puts most time-limited gear in a regular store. That means that you can just buy it whenever, which is obviously good news.
Ooh.
It's a company moving away from unfriendly monetization, and that deserves celebration. But today's FOMO story is actually a different one. This comes from Helldivers being a live service game, but in a way that actually uses the fact it's a live service to make it a better game. Instead of the usual, which is basically just edge you out until you eventually decide that you can't take it anymore and for some reason you buy something. Okay, let's talk about the defense of Super Earth. For months, Arrowhead teased something big. The newest enemy, the Illuminate, was coming. They were, in fact, heading straight towards Super Earth. And with the latest update to the game, they arrived. And this was a truly massive in-game event. So what did players get? Well, what players...
To be fair, literally everything about Helldivers 2 in general, the game is FOMO. Because when stuff happens, stuff happens. You were either there or you were not there. And if you were not there, congratulations, you were not part of that history. Because everything changes in Helldivers 2. Did we watch a video yesterday about this, by the way? Or am I tripping? Or did I just watch it by myself? It's the fact that people appreciate Helldivers 2 so much because of one simple reason. It's like, because Helldivers changes stuff. It's not like World of Warcraft where you know that the end of the day it doesn't matter. The good guys win and it's all a grand sum of nothing at the end. Helldivers 2 is like, well, we just saved this planet, but 2 days later it gets blown up anyway. And the planet's gone. Other companies would be afraid to do that. Helldivers kind of just does it.
players got was huge new city environments, new mission types, new enemy variants, and a very clear system. Here's how the system worked. The attacking fleet of the Illuminate had limited resources.
And by the way, again, I gush over Helldivers a lot, honestly, because Helldivers has such uniquely high potential that seemingly currently is not really being used. And that is in the sense that they can do four-way battles, Super Earth, the Bugs, the Roombas, and the Illuminate now. They can do like they could probably make like super massive raid events that pop up every like once, 2 weeks or something like that. Where you literally have like 40 Helldivers in one map moving towards an objective that's like a tunnel, and it is insane. Like, it is pure insanity. Now, admittedly, 40 Helldivers would not be tangible, but stuff like that. Helldivers has the ability to go that far, and they haven't. I guess the technology is limiting because the game is not designed properly around, a free map where people just join and it's like up to 50 players or 40 or even 20. That probably would be insane and it would burn down with all of the stratagems. But it it would be amazing. And they could do it at some point. And when they do it, my god, will Helldivers explode because that would be amazing.
Over time, the fleet would destroy active locations on Super Earth, and this would happen at a set rate. Now, players could slow down that rate. They could also weaken the fleet by winning missions. Essentially, each day brought a group of locations for you to defend. Now, that meant that the player base had to spread out. They needed to juggle defending all of them within the time constraints that they were given. And here are the stakes. Once a city was gone, it was gone. It was destroyed by aliens. There was no going back. Basically, this gave real consequences. Previous defense events have existed, but they would let players surge back. Players could retake lost locations. Not this time. If a city fell, it was gone. And you know what? This plan actually worked. Helldivers became the #1 game on Steam in the US that week. 3.4 million people played during the defense. That's all clustered around one single week. But here's the real proof. Before this update, players averaged around 2.5 million per week. That's 900,000 more players. And those extra players were not drawn.
That's a lot, by the way. I know it doesn't seem a lot on those numbers, but that's roughly 40% more. Wait, how much did he say? 9? Yeah, that's almost 40% more. That's a lot.
Drawn in by new cosmetics. They were not drawn in by a purchase opportunity, by the fact that finally they could get a Porsche Macan skin for D.Va in their Overwatch. It wasn't that. They came for the narrative. They came for the emotional stakes. They came for a reason to play.
By the way, the Porsche shit needs to stop. It's stupid, okay? Because why is Porsche doing it? Because it's actual Porsche. Porsche is paying these companies to put their skins in their games. It's like, do you think a 30-year-old college dropout who maybe has finished 12 grades if he's lucky, honestly, is gonna buy your fucking Porsche? Like, Porsche, why are you giving these companies money? It's like, it's an intergalactic decadic profit, but Naughty Dog's gay game. It's an Overwatch now. Like, Porsche, do you even know who buys your garbage? Target Viagra pills or something.
Now, in a way, it's still FOMO, because the defense is over. Super Earth has been defended. But this time it's different. Players wanted to say, I was there. This could have been just another update, and it would have had the same pattern as always. Players log in, play some rounds with new enemy types, try new mission types, and they log out. And of course, when you look at Steam, we know that player numbers spike whenever new content drops. That is, of course, fairly normal. Sometimes players will come back later to do it all again with another update.
Helldivers' steward retention rates in general are insane.
And of course,
this is really good. This is really, really good.
They do. We literally have got the stats. And Arrowhead, of course, gets to reuse the enemies and the locations. It's all got fairly typical by now. I mean, as an example, they've already expanded the city environments over to Terminid planets. And to be clear, those mechanical updates to the game do actually matter. Last summer is even a perfect example of it actually mattering, because even Helldivers players, they're okay with repetitious content. Even they get tired without new stuff to do. Right? No new missions, no new weapons, no new upgrades.
Yeah, one of the big things that Helldivers players actually say is bad with the game, and it's not It's not really that bad, but it's like if you're a dedicated player and you play it a lot and you want to play it more, it's typical problem of there's not enough things to grind. Like here's my Lost Ark take that's not even honestly controversial if you actually played Lost Ark. Lost Ark was fun and I wasn't burning out on it until I had Una tasks and full accomplishment things to get, you know? I finished like 99% of the collectibles, the discoverables, the everythings. Literally, I was missing pretty much nothing. And when all of that ended and I had no more Una tasks to do, it became a really repetitive grind because there was just no end to it. It became boring.
Guess what? Players leave. We see it in the Steam data. And by now, we're all very used to this type of development pattern happening with almost every game that we play. But you see, it's the context that's absolutely everything here. Players have got to believe something about Helldivers, and they have to believe it with no proof from Arrowhead. And if they don't believe it, the concept of the game falls over. What would happen if players did not stop the Illuminate? What would happen? Would it actually matter? Players
Yes.
basically had to believe the stakes were real. If they didn't show up, if they didn't hold the line, they would lose the planet. And if you want to know a secret, they actually could have. Super Earth could have fallen here. It's fairly neat how all of this shook out. Datamine footage shows cutscenes for if players failed. And the upshot of those cutscenes is that humanity would need a new HQ. Maybe they would have to retake Super Earth later on. Basically, it would have been a whole different story. And most of the players who played this did not know for sure how far Arrowhead would go. Unless, of course,
Yeah, that's exactly why people want to join in on this because you what we're playing a live service game where you shoot things, but the stakes are real. Helldivers 2 is to a degree a unique game where your actions actually matter. You're not only just playing to shoot things and have fun in that sense, but 3 days later you return and you know and you now know didn't help enough to save this planet. Now it's dead. It has actual stakes. It's kind of insane. It's very cool in that sense.
they looked at the leaks. But what matters here is they seemingly trusted Arrowhead not to cheat them out. Why? Well, they had seen how Arrowhead reacted before. As an example, remember when players saved a fictional children's hospital? What you might have forgotten is they chose that children's hospital over getting a new stratagem.
True.
Arrowhead honored their choice. They did not get the new stratagem. And Arrowhead had, of course, seen the mythos that developed around key battles. As an example, Malevolent Creek. That's burned into all of our memories. So basically, players believed Arrowhead took this universe seriously. And because Arrowhead took it seriously, players took it seriously. And if you want to know what player buy-in looks like, quite simply look at Equality on Sea. On a meta level, the ending seemed rather clear. The capital city, Prosperity, was the last location activated. Perfect timing, and it's also where Arrowhead are based. Narratively, it's essentially the perfect ending. But here's the thing about live service events. Players don't always follow the set narrative. For this, enter Equality on Sea, the megacity that is based on Shanghai. This was the last defendable city
Oh yeah, we covered this one.
before Prosperity. And when Chinese players realized this, they went into overdrive. The city's defense rating spiked. Global players saw a story forming, and when they did, they joined in. Equality on Sea did not get weaker. Its strength spiked to 97.9783%, which is humongous. Now, unfortunately, the emotional buy-in has a little bit of a flip side. A badly translated mission objective confused Chinese players.
Yeah, because you can't actually save it.
They actually thought they could liberate their city. When they couldn't, well, Helldivers 2 got over 4,000 negative reviews on Steam.
Yeah.
Those players felt cheated. They thought that Arrowhead, quote, broke the rules. They hadn't. It was a misunderstanding in this case, a mistranslation. This was an event that players couldn't win until defeating the Illuminate fleet. But it does show something important. The depth of feeling. The depth of feeling that this FOMO-powered event created in people. people believed in consequence here.
By the way, it's not even consequences, just your thing, you know? If a game if a game came out and I had the choice between saving my country or any other country, fuck you, other country, you're dead, okay? I'm saving my own. People would be like that. That's obvious. We are all sane people. Well, most of us are sane people, and we love our own countries.
They believed their actions mattered, and when the dust settled, Arrowhead actually decided to respect that. The last remaining cities were Equality on Sea and Prosperity. We have to presume that Prosperity was the intended final city, and basically Arrowhead could not have predicted this. They could not have predicted that a bit of a mistranslation confused a whole bunch of an audience, leading to a spike in player activity. And of course, players themselves couldn't have predicted this, that it would go the way that it did. But now, everyone has a story. Everyone gets to pick up the pieces together. Arrowhead resets for their big next event, and they do so from a position of strength, having actually had something went wrong. But then the credibility boost of incorporating that into their story. That is actually quite powerful. That makes a game feel real. Though, of course, something looms over all of this. Is there another lever they can pull that's anywhere near this powerful? Because in this case, it was defending Super Earth. It was literally defending the entire thing that the Helldivers essentially exist to defend. That's a hard act to follow. But the thing that'll matter here is now players have got somewhat of a sense of what they will miss out on if they decide not to tune in next time. And now I'm going to make the largest point, the thing that actually matters, because when you or I think of a live service game, what do we think of?
Well, to be fair, this is gonna either make or break really easily, and the way that this breaks is the fact that every week you have to defend something this big. But if this is like a event that doesn't happen that often, then it's gonna be big. People are gonna come back for it. But if it's just something that happens like every week, it's no longer special.
We think of store events, right? We see live service as a way of operation and a business model. And obviously it is those things. But this is it as a game. And this is what online multiplayer games can actually offer. And in a way, there are loads of stories of things like this happening. Some of them are not intentional, like the Corrupted Blood incident in World of Warcraft, the Falador massacre in RuneScape, the assassination of Lord British in Ultima, and then of course there's this as intended with EVE Online. And the countless insane stories. I mean, hell, even Fortnite sometimes gets this with its concerts and its narrative moments that are pretty damn powerful player engagement tools. Basically, they end up being events that players talk about for years. And if you missed it, you know what? That kind of makes the thing matter. If a new event is something that you can always
Fortnite's pretty stupid.
access, is it going to be exciting when a new one drops? There is something to say about permanence, and if we want meaning in our games, well, if something is abundant, always accessible, how does it really end up having meaning? And if everything has got to be some little isolated, airlocked off thing, how can you have meaning? I mean, as an example, if a game is going to change because something happened, say an event like this, well, that means that the game state has actually got to change. Change means different than before. And it's something we've seen in PvE, where it happens naturally where devs can embrace it, like in EVE Online. But PvE is the one place where it's just never really happened. And that means that a PvE live service ends up feeling like it's all about crossovers and license deals to drive people in, of daily events, battle passes, login bonuses, all those things to drive retention. It all just means monetization, monetization, monetization. But done.
God, I look at all of this crap and it just feels like such a stupid joke, honestly. The Zoomers really did ruin everything in gaming, huh?
In a way that tells a player, act now or lose your chance to spend. This example shows us another way. You can still treat your players with respect. You can treat your universe with respect. You can give people reasons to return that are because your live game, your live universe, is undergoing a pivotal narrative moment and is going to change. That's a reason to return that makes.
Yeah, but you gotta appreciate the Helldivers and the stuff. Again, it's like votes lost, not lives, but votes, because that's what truly matters.
Change. That's a reason to return
Well, honestly, this is fine. All of them can vote Biden now.
that may correlate with spending, but is not about spending. That is not a time limited store banner event. Because here's the ultimate difference it's you being sold a world versus you being sold a product. Sell me on the world, I will enter your world, and maybe I will buy some products. But when we're all talking about
Okay, okay. Billiard, you're done. It's fine. Anyway, that was Billiard. 10 out of 10. Bye.